How old were you when you had your first kiss and what were the circumstances? Oh, this is horrible. Hi and welcome back. It's been so long since we caught up because I had such a big backlog of videos while I was traveling. Currently, I still have one video pending, which is a Paris trip with my parents. I hope to post that video on Monday, but it's taking quite a long time to edit. I'm super happy actually to just catch up with you and do some chatting because today is Valentine's Day. I thought we would do a Q&A video around the theme love, and I'm gonna get right into your questions. First question, which is a very valid question. Do you think Valentine's week is something worth celebrating, or is it just a gimmick promoted by companies to make more money? If you really want to know how I feel about it, well, yes, of course it's a gimmick, but at the same time, once you lean into it, it can be super fun, just like any other holiday that has been commercialized. I don't think there's anything wrong with celebrating love on a special day. Once you give it a label, it makes it a little bit more official for a lot of people. It's actually a psychological thing. It is important for the economy to have commercial holidays. That's one of the main things that my economy teacher taught me in high school. People need to keep spending money to keep the economy growing, so I don't think that's a bad thing. One more thing I would like to emphasize, and I feel it's a common mistake with people who usually criticize these holidays. Never forget that you have a choice. You can go out there and buy something for your Valentine, or you can make them a homemade meal and celebrate Valentine's Day that way. You don't have to go out there and spend money. It's always your choice. Some of the books written by Indian authors that you like. I have to make a confession. I haven't read that many books of Indian authors. Currently I'm moving, so I cannot show you the books. I have read Devdas, which is by a Bengali writer. I have also read The God of Small Things, which I really hated, to be honest. I didn't like the writing style, which was way too artsy for my taste. I'm a little bit more of a simple person, and also the theme was just horrifying. It was good to know that part of Indian culture because obviously it's there. At the same time, I just didn't feel good about it. If you have any good books from Indian writers, please recommend them down in the comments below because I would definitely love to read more books from Indian writers. Of course, I did like Devdas. It was quite close to the Sanjay Leela Bhansali film, I feel. Yes, this also means that I do stand by my point that Devdi is an absolutely horrible movie. What are the differences in the celebration of Valentine's Day that you have observed between India and Netherlands? I feel Valentine's Day in the Netherlands is a lot bigger commercial holiday. Here in India, I literally just saw the first commercial about a Valentine's Day sale, but that was the only one that I've seen. If this was the Netherlands, I would be seeing Valentine's Day commercials 2 weeks in advance, every single day of the week. So I think that is the biggest difference. Also, another big difference I feel is that in the Netherlands, Valentine's Day has been so commercialized that now they're actually extending the celebration of love to siblings, to mothers, to grandmothers. Anybody and anybody who you love, we will celebrate them on Valentine's Day in the Netherlands, whereas in India, I feel it is still a lover's holiday. Could you call it like that? Lover's celebration? Yeah, you know what I mean, right? What do you love most, shooting videos or editing them? I mean the one that you find easier. It varies, I have to say. Sometimes I'm really into shooting videos and then I'm just bored editing, and other times I literally can't wait to go and edit a video because I feel it's so good. And currently I love shooting videos more because I've been editing way too much and I'm just sick and tired of it. I need an intern, but that's something for a different day. What are some of the things that you would love to try on YouTube that you haven't tried yet? I would love to do a comedy sketch. I have done a comedy sketch in the past with a Dutch YouTuber where we were shooting the differences between men and women while traveling. I would also love to shoot a comedy skit with an Indian YouTuber. I already have a theme in mind. Who knows? So that's something that I definitely would like to do this year. I think it's super fun to make those kind of videos because I never make them and I do really enjoy watching them. Can smart people fall in true love with someone without using their mind? Or rather, smart people fall in true love keeping their future in mind? If you want my honest answer, I think love makes all of us stupid. At least for a certain amount of time. With some people it lasts longer than with other people. I consider myself to be a relatively smart person, if I'm allowed to say that. I'm already cringing. Who says that about themselves? But I think I can make quite educated decisions, and even I have found myself in situations where I fell in love with somebody and I knew with my mind, no, that's like never happening, but still you want to see where that track leads you. And yeah, for me, it usually lasts quite short, I have to say. So yeah, love makes all of us stupid. It just happens. What do you think about this? It's just an opinion of mine that platonic relationships or family, like the love for your friends or family, is much more deep and meaningful than romantic love. Not saying romantic partner can't be friend though. You know how I feel about this? I feel that we have way too high standards for our romantic partners. I don't know if this is because of the unrealistic movies that we're watching, the unrealistic stories that we're reading in books or in magazines, maybe some romantic shows that we're watching on television. By now, I have had 3 very serious relationships, and every single time I catch myself having way higher standards for my romantic partners than for my friends and family. One example that I can give you is if one of my friends or my brother, for instance, if they don't text me back in days, I'm like, they're probably busy, doesn't matter. If my romantic partner doesn't text me back in days, I'm like, this is over, we don't have any more relationship, we can't be together. It's just ridiculous. The extremely high standards that we have for our romantic partners really need to come down. Currently, I'm watching a lot of TED Talks about relationships and marriage and how to deal with things. I can link some of them down in the description below if you guys want that, because I think it really helps to clear our perception that our romantic partners have to be these superhumans, which obviously they are not. We are not perfect. Our romantic partners are not perfect. And that's probably why you feel more love for your family or your friends, because those relationships last longer if you have a little bit lower standards and cut people some slack. Our romantic relationships would be able to last longer if we just have a little bit more realistic standards for our romantic partners, and I am currently very much working on that. One thing you love most about yourself. I don't let fear determine my choices in life. I think that's really something that I love about myself. Of course, making some difficult choices in life always comes with pain of letting go, but until now I can 100% say that I've lived a full life because I have made some difficult choices that I was terrified to make. One of them was leaving the Netherlands to build a life in India, and still until this day, every time I look outside and the sun is shining and I see palm trees, I'm like, I'm proud of myself and I'm very happy about that character trait that I have. How did you notice that you needed to love yourself more? That was during my burnout, where for a very long time I listened to a lot of other people telling me how I should do my work, because it was primarily work that caused my burnout. I went way over my own boundaries. I neglected myself. I felt that what other people were saying was so much more valid than just listening to my own feelings, because those people were more senior to me and they had a lot more experience. Whereas during my burnout, I definitely learned that this is all that matters. How I feel and how I need to take care of myself. That's the only thing I need to listen to. Of course, in some confusing situations, I will ask the advice of family and friends, but I've also learned that it always has to be people who are very close to you and who know you quite well in order to give you a good advice, because the people who don't know you that well, how can they give you advice? That's something that I don't do anymore. Is loving yourself tougher than loving other people? Yes, I definitely do think so. And I realized this while I was also watching a TED Talk. We have to parent ourselves once we grow older. This means that while taking care of ourselves as adults, we have a double role. We have to be the adult who parents the adult and push ourselves beyond our fear, beyond our limitations. And at the same time, we also have to love ourselves and listen to what our body needs. Putting these two roles together can be extremely difficult. We're not brought up to necessarily love ourselves every day, whereas our parents do keep telling us, oh, love your brother, love your sister, love your grandmother. That kind of love is taught to us, but self-love is not necessarily taught to us as children. So that's why I also feel it is definitely more difficult to love yourself than to love others. Your dream that has not been fulfilled yet. Well, I have 3. One is a massive penthouse in Mumbai overlooking Marine Drive. The second one would be getting married, and the third one would be children. So who knows what will happen in the upcoming years. If you were on death row and could possibly have one last Indian meal, what would it be? This is very difficult because I'm currently going through a soya chap obsession. In case you don't know, soya chap is a soya construction, but it literally tastes like fake meat. It's very, very delicious. And obviously I love paneer, so can we have a Malai soya chap paneer lemon rice feast? I think that would be my choice. What is the most important thing in a relationship? I think being able to trust each other, depend on each other, and support each other. That's 3 things, but I feel they're very, very interconnected, because if somebody is not supporting me, I wouldn't trust them. And if I trust somebody, I also expect them to support me. And the other way around, obviously, I will also support the person that I love. Those 3 things in collaboration with each other. How do you control your love for junk food and fatty foods? Like seriously, I cannot even go a day without having unhealthy food. I actually have changed over the years. I used to have a very strict boundary between cheat days and clean days, as I like to call it, the days on which I eat only healthy foods, and a cheat day would be a day where I get to eat everything I want. While traveling, this is just not possible because there's just too much good food. But I've learned something else: portion control. I use this app called MyFitnessPal. So nowadays, when I feel I'm craving chocolate, I will just eat like one small praline. Once you see how many calories there are in, for instance, a whole chocolate bar, you'll be like, you know what? This little row, which is only 100 calories, is perfectly fine for me. Portion control, that's the answer. How did you become self-employed? Can you talk more about your job? Actually, that video is also linked down in the description below in the frequently asked questions, where I explain everything about how I became a travel vlogger and how I make money doing this. What's your favorite travel wear? Comfortable or fashionable? To be honest, nowadays it is definitely more fashionable, but at the same time, my all-time rule for clothes is that they always have to be comfortable. So I guess it's a combination of both of those. Is there anyone who you would love to prefer to make up with, since it's a season of love in any kind? Friends or family? You don't have to name if you don't want to, just say yes or no. And if the person is from India or Netherlands. You know what? The people who are in my life right now belong in my life. The people who are not in my life anymore, they don't belong in my life. I have made it a rule of myself that once people are out of my life, I have to keep them out of my life, because my boundaries with friends and family are very flexible. But I have my limits, and once somebody has crossed those limits, I just can't have you around me anymore. And it's usually people who have very little empathy for others, because I have a lot of empathy for others, and when somebody cannot reciprocate that empathy, it's just a relationship that is never ever going to work, whether that's friends or family. So no, I don't feel that way. I have made a lot of peace with myself that I can keep loving those people, but from a distance. They don't necessarily need to be in my life for me to love them. What makes a relationship healthy? I would say good communication and continuous self-development. I'm not perfect, but I do like my partner calling me out on that in a respectful way and keep developing myself as a human being. And I kind of expect the same of my partner. And yeah, respectful communication. I think that's very important. Love of blood relationships or love of friends? Which has a stronger bond for you? If you have watched my video about being a refugee from former Yugoslavia and how I settled in the Netherlands, you probably already know that I grew up without extended family. So no aunts, no uncles, no nieces, no nephews, only my parents and my brother. In case you haven't watched that video, it is linked down in the description below in the frequently asked questions section. So for me growing up, I had a new rule for myself that blood doesn't mean anything. You get to choose your family. So yeah, my friends are definitely considered my family. Literally just the other day I had a friend and she was like, oh my god, I can't believe the amount of girl love you have for me. And I was like, girl, you're family. This is not girl love. You're my sister. That's it. How old were you when you had your first kiss and what were the circumstances? Oh, this is horrible. So I was 15. We were just hanging out with a bunch of friends. I was very tired of being the only one who hadn't kissed a guy ever. And there was this guy who I kind of liked. He kind of liked me. He had to leave with a train. We kissed on the train station. It was meh. 10/10 can't recommend. Don't do it. Just wait until a person you really, really like if you want to kiss somebody for the first time. Because this, meh, no. What's your view on love is love, same-sex love? You know what my view is? It is genuinely none of my business who my neighbor, my brother, my best friends, or any other person wants to love and be in a relationship with. Yes, love is love. If you feel happy with a person, regardless of the same sex or maybe they have had a sex change, who the hell am I to judge? I'm not God. If you fall in love with somebody, you deal with it. Why do I have to deal with that? And the last question, how important is love in your life? Love for me is literally everything. I always say love is my religion. I want to have people around me who I can love fully and unconditionally. I want to do the work that I love, which is creating videos for you guys. I want to be with a person who I love, which we're not commenting on, and live my life full of love. That's all we have, right? I'm sending you all of my love. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for supporting me. Thank you so much for being so patient with me, because I know my upload schedule has been a huge mess. I'm trying to think of how to fix that, because while traveling and making the kind of videos that I've been making recently, it's just too difficult. So I will find a solution for that and we will be reconnecting very soon. Thank you so much for watching and I will see you next time. Bye.